Imagine how different your life would be if no one had the power to control your emotions. Not a rude stranger, not a critical boss, not even the person who knows exactly how to push your buttons. Imagine the peace of staying calm while the world around you spirals into chaos. As the Buddha once said, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Yet, most of us sip that poison daily, reacting impulsively, regretting instantly. Whether it's a heated argument with a loved one, a frustrating day at work, or just feeling overwhelmed by life. We often lose control, not because we're weak, but because we've never been taught how to harness the power of true inner calm. What if there was a way to master your reactions, to remain grounded no matter the storm? What if you could break free from the emotional triggers that manipulate your peace? In this video, you'll discover 7 profound Buddhist principles that can fundamentally change how you respond to life's pressures. These aren't just ancient teachings, they are practical, life-changing tools that can help you stay calm, composed, and unshakable. And if you take away anything from this video, let it be this: mastering your reactions is the key to mastering your life. Stay with us until the end, because there's a powerful bonus lesson waiting. A principle so transformative, it could be the turning point for your emotional mastery. Number 1. Starve your emotional outbursts. Most people believe that expressing their anger gives them control, but in reality, it's the opposite. Every reaction feeds the fire, making it harder to extinguish. Imagine a man walking home after a long day. Someone cuts him off in traffic. He yells. Then, at a cafe, the barista makes a mistake with his order. He snaps. By the time he gets home, he's in a terrible mood, lashing out at his family over the smallest things. His entire day was hijacked by reactions he never questioned. Now ask yourself, was he in control or was he controlled? Buddhist wisdom teaches that anger is not something to fight, but something to starve. Like a flame, it only survives when given fuel. When you stop feeding it, it fades. But most people do the opposite. They argue, justify, replay scenarios in their minds, pouring gasoline on the fire. True power lies in doing nothing. Imagine standing in front of someone yelling at you. Instead of retaliating, you pause, you breathe, you watch their words, like leaves floating down a stream. You realize you don't have to engage. In that moment, their power over you dissolves. Here's a mental exercise. The next time someone provokes you, visualize their words as sparks. If you react, you ignite a wildfire. If you stay still, the fire dies before it even begins. This isn't weakness, it's the ultimate form of strength. Monks train for years in this skill, but you don't need a monastery to master it. You just need 1 second, 1 deep breath before responding, 1 conscious choice to observe instead of react. Think about your own life. How many times has a single moment of anger led to hours, even days of regret? A heated argument with a loved one, a confrontation at work, or a careless outburst online, only to be followed by guilt and self-reproach. What happens when you stop feeding your anger with attention and reaction? The answer will change the way you see emotions forever. Now, here's the twist. Most people assume that mastering emotions means suppressing them, but suppression is just resistance in disguise, and resistance only creates suffering. The real shift happens when you make emotions irrelevant. When anger arises, see it, acknowledge it, and let it pass like a cloud in the sky. No attachment, no fuel, just awareness. Imagine being unshakable, so grounded that no insult, no provocation, no external chaos can disturb your peace. The great Zen master once said, "Feelings come and go like clouds in a windy sky. Conscious breathing is my anchor." This is the secret. By becoming the observer of your emotions rather than their slave, you transform into an unmovable force. The strongest person in the room is never the loudest. The strongest person is the one who doesn't need to react at all. The next time you feel anger rising, do nothing. Take a breath, watch it dissolve. Let the fire starve, and in that stillness you'll discover a power most people will never know. The power of being untouchable. 2. Who's controlling your reactions? Most people go through life unaware that their emotions are being controlled by invisible strings. They think they are making conscious choices, but in reality they are simply reacting to triggers, like puppets being pulled by unseen forces. Imagine a man driving to work. Another driver cuts him off, and without a second thought, he slams his hand on the horn, yelling obscenities. His entire mood changes. At work, he's irritable, snapping at his colleagues. By the time he gets home, he's exhausted from the weight of emotions he never chose. But here's the truth: he was never in control. His triggers were. Buddhist wisdom reveals that every time you get emotionally triggered, you are surrendering your power to something external. You are allowing situations, people, and even fleeting thoughts to dictate your internal state. But it doesn't have to be this way. The moment you become aware of the emotional strings pulling at you, you begin to loosen their grip. Imagine walking into a room where someone mocks you. Instead of instantly reacting with defensiveness or anger, you catch yourself. You pause. You observe the urge rising, but do not indulge it. In that space, you reclaim your autonomy. You choose how you respond, calmly and consciously, rather than being driven by impulse. Here's a practical shift. The next time you feel triggered, ask yourself, am I choosing this reaction, or is my conditioning choosing it for me? You'll be surprised by how often the answer is the latter. Most of your reactions are not conscious decisions. They are pre-programmed habits based on years of conditioning. Childhood experiences, social influences, and unresolved wounds shape your emotional reflexes. But when you step back and observe the pattern, you create distance between yourself and the reaction. And in that distance, you find power. Think about it. Who or what has the power to make you angry, anxious, or impatient? Is it the rude cashier, the critical colleague, or the disapproving parent? The truth is, they don't have the power. You give it to them by reacting. When you stop reacting, you take back what was always yours. Your peace of mind. No one can disturb you without your consent. Here's the twist. The moment you recognize the strings, they lose their grip. When you realize that the anger, stress, or irritation surging within you is simply a conditioned response, it becomes less personal. You see it for what it is, an old mental habit, not an unchangeable reality. And with that realization, you hold the scissors. You cut the strings. Imagine the freedom of being untouchable. No insult, no judgment, no external provocation could sway your inner calm. You would walk through the storms of life with unshakable composure. As the Buddha once said, you will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger. The punishment is the suffering you create for yourself. But when you sever the strings of reactivity, you liberate yourself from that suffering. So the next time someone or something tempts you to overreact, breathe. Ask yourself, am I holding the strings, or is someone else? Then, without hesitation, take the scissors and set yourself free. 3. Hosting emotions without becoming them. Most people make the mistake of believing that their emotions define them. They say, I am angry or I am anxious, as though these feelings are part of their identity. But in reality, emotions are only temporary visitors. They come and go like passing clouds. The problem is, you mistake them for permanent residents. You invite them in, give them a key, and let them rearrange the furniture of your mind. The result? You overreact. You let fleeting emotions make lasting decisions. But Buddhist wisdom offers a radical shift. You are the host, not the guest. Your emotions are just passing through. Imagine your mind as a guest house. Some mornings, joy knocks on the door, and you welcome it in with open arms. Other times, anger or sadness arrives uninvited. The mistake most people make? They slam the door or let the emotion take over the whole house. But Buddhism teaches you to open the door with equanimity. When frustration, grief, or stress arrive, you say, "I see you." You can stay for a while, but you don't own this house. By doing this, you remove their power. You allow them to be felt without becoming consumed by them. Here's a practical shift. The next time you feel overwhelmed by an emotion, don't fight it or push it away. Instead, greet it like a guest. Say to yourself, "Oh, anger is here," or sadness has arrived. By naming it, you create distance. You become the observer, not the prisoner. This simple practice of mindful labeling creates space between you and the emotion, space where calmness can breathe. Think about it. When was the last time you let a brief emotion ruin an entire day? Maybe you woke up irritated and it colored every conversation you had. Or perhaps a small disappointment led to hours of frustration. But what if you simply saw that feeling as a guest? Imagine telling yourself, "This feeling is here now, but it will leave soon." Wouldn't that loosen its grip? Wouldn't it pass through more quickly? Here's the twist. The more welcoming you are to emotions, the less power they have over you. When you resist or suppress feelings, they strengthen. But when you allow them to come and go freely, they lose their dominance. It's like opening the windows in a house. The fresh air dissipates the stale energy. You remain unchanged no matter what passes through. Now picture the freedom of living this way. When someone criticizes you, you feel a sting of defensiveness, but you let it sit like a visitor. When frustration rises during a stressful day, you acknowledge it without giving it authority. You neither indulge nor deny it. You simply let it pass, like a guest who stays for a night and leaves by morning. The poet Rumi once wrote, "This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, welcome and entertain them all." This is the essence of emotional mastery. You welcome every feeling, but you serve none of them tea. You stay calm, centered, and unattached. The next time an emotion knocks on the door of your mind, smile. Let it in. But remember, you are the host. You decide when it leaves. 4. Anger harms you first. Most people believe that anger is a form of strength, a defense mechanism to protect themselves. They think that by lashing out they are asserting power. But in reality, anger is self-inflicted harm. It burns you before it ever touches anyone else. Imagine a man holding a hot coal, convinced that if he throws it, he will wound his opponent. But before he even aims, the coal is already searing his hand. This is what happens every time you overreact. You believe you are fighting back, but you are only setting yourself on fire. Buddhist wisdom offers a sobering truth. Holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal and expecting the other person to be burned. When you overreact in anger, your heart rate spikes, your muscles tighten, and your breath shortens. The body releases stress hormones, flooding your system with cortisol and adrenaline. Your mind becomes clouded, your judgment impaired, and your inner peace destroyed. Meanwhile, the person you're angry at might walk away unaffected. You suffer. You carry the emotional wound long after the moment has passed. Now, here's a mental shift. The next time you feel anger rising, pause and ask yourself, who is this hurting more, me or them? You'll realize that you're holding the burning coal, not them. Every angry thought, Every grudge and every uncontrolled reaction is another ember scorching your mind. Imagine getting into a heated argument with a loved one. Your words become sharp, your tone harsh. Even if you win the argument, you lose something far greater, your inner stability. Hours later, you're still fuming, your hands shake, your stomach is tense. But the person you argued with, they've already moved on. You're the one still holding the coal. Think about it. Would you willingly stab yourself just to prove a point? Of course not. Yet every time you overreact, you do just that. You sacrifice your own peace of mind for the illusion of power. But true strength is not in the outburst, it is in the stillness. The one who stays calm always wins, not over others, but over themselves. They walk away with their dignity intact, their energy preserved, and their peace unshaken. Here's the twist. When you refuse to overreact, you disarm the person trying to provoke you. Their words lose weight. Their attempts to control your emotions fail. Imagine someone insulting you, expecting you to lash out. Instead, you look at them calmly and say nothing. In that moment, you strip them of their power. Your stillness becomes your shield. Your self-restraint becomes your sword. The Buddha once said, "You will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger." Let that sink in. When you overreact, you are the one who pays the price. Your mind becomes agitated, your body stressed, and your soul weary. But when you remain calm, you remain untouchable. The next time someone or something triggers you, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, is this worth burning myself for? And then, with unwavering grace, let the coal fall from your hand, mastering chaos without losing your center. Most people live at the mercy of external chaos. When life becomes turbulent, they become turbulent too. When the storm rages around them, they let it rage within them. But imagine a hurricane. The winds tear through everything in their path, trees bending, buildings trembling. Yet at the center of this chaos, there is an I, a perfectly still, serene space. No matter how violently the storm howls, the I remains undisturbed. This is what Buddhist wisdom teaches. You can't stop the chaos of life, but you can remain the I of the storm. When you overreact to difficult situations, you are pulled out of your center. You get caught in the whirlwind of emotions, frustration, impatience, fear. You lash out, you spiral. You let the storm outside create a storm inside. But the key to emotional mastery is staying anchored in your inner stillness, no matter how forceful the winds become. Imagine being in a crowded airport when your flight gets cancelled. People are shouting at the airline staff. Tension rises. But you breathe deeply and remain calm. You don't join the storm. You watch it from the center, detached yet aware. Here's a practical shift. The next time chaos surrounds you, silently say to yourself, "I am the eye of the storm. The world moves, but I remain steady." This mantra becomes your anchor. You may still feel the winds of frustration tugging at you, but you won't be carried away. You will stand firm in your calmness, observing the storm without becoming part of it. This is the art of mastering chaos without losing your center. Think about it. When was the last time you let external circumstances steal your peace? Maybe it was a traffic jam, a missed deadline, or a disrespectful comment. You let the situation invade your inner space, turning a temporary inconvenience into hours of stress. But what if you could remain untouched? What if the storm outside didn't have to create a storm inside? Here's the twist. You can't stop the wind, but you can stop yourself from being blown away. You can't control how others act, but you can control how you respond. The angrier they get, the calmer you become. The more chaotic the world, the more grounded you remain. This is the essence of emotional freedom. To remain still while everything else spins. Imagine walking through life with this unshakable presence. When others lose their temper, you hold yours. When challenges pile up, you stay composed. When people provoke you, you respond with serene detachment. You become untouchable, not by hardening yourself, but by softening into stillness. The great Zen master once said, "The wave does not need to stop to be calm. It simply needs to recognize it is the ocean. You are not the wave of fleeting emotions. You are the vast, steady ocean beneath." So, the next time you face turmoil, visualize yourself as the eye of the storm. Let the winds howl, let the waves crash, let the world shake. And as it does, stand calmly in your center, unmoved. Because the world will always have storms, but you can choose to remain still. 6. Don't let small things overflow you. Most people overreact not because their problems are massive, but because their inner world is too small. When your mind is like a tiny cup, even a single drop of negativity clouds it completely. A minor inconvenience, a delayed meeting, a rude comment, or a careless driver overflows you with frustration. But Buddhist wisdom reveals a powerful truth. The problem isn't the drop of ink, it's the size of your water. When your inner world is vast, even the darkest ink dissolves into nothingness. Imagine holding a small glass of water. If you add a few drops of ink, the entire glass turns murky. But now, imagine standing by the shore of a massive, serene lake. You pour in an entire bottle of ink, and nothing changes. The water remains clear and undisturbed. This is how a vast mind handles life's troubles. It absorbs them effortlessly. No single frustration or fleeting emotion can cloud its clarity. But when your inner world is small, even the smallest disturbance unsettles you. Here's a mental shift. The next time you feel overwhelmed by a minor problem, ask yourself, am I reacting this way because my perspective is too small? Maybe someone cuts you off in traffic and you find yourself enraged. Is it truly the car that upsets you? Or is it the accumulation of unprocessed frustrations weighing on your mind? When you carry unresolved stress, even a small trigger feels heavy. But when your mind is spacious, these little incidents simply pass through. Think about it. If your mind were an ocean instead of a cup, would this problem even matter? Would one snarky comment ruin your day? Would a delayed email be worth your peace of mind? Of course not. When you expand your perspective, small frustrations lose their power. You see them for what they are, temporary and insignificant. Like a breeze passing over the surface of a vast sea, they leave no trace. Here's the twist. You don't need fewer problems. You need a larger mind. You need to cultivate inner vastness. How? Through stillness, through mindfulness, through detachment. When you regularly meditate or sit in silence, you expand the space between yourself and your reactions. You become more spacious, more resilient. Suddenly, the same problems that once disturbed you now feel trivial. You begin to laugh at things that once made you angry. You shrug off what once ruined your day. Imagine the freedom of carrying a vast mind. When people criticize you, their words are just ripples on your surface. When plans fall apart, you remain steady, knowing that your inner calm is untouchable. You stop making small problems large, and instead, you become large enough to make all problems small. The Buddha once said, "You can only lose what you cling to." When you hold tightly to your ego, every insult stings. When you cling to expectations, every disappointment frustrates you. But when you expand beyond the clinging, you become as vast as the sky. The rain of daily frustrations may fall, but you remain clear and open. So the next time a minor irritation tempts you to overreact, pause, breathe, ask yourself, is this ink clouding my mind because my water is too small? And then choose to expand, to become the lake, not the cup. Let the ink dissolve into your vastness. Let nothing disturb your depth. 7. Let go before it builds up. Most people unknowingly build emotional walls. Every time they hold on to anger, disappointment, or regret, they add another brick. One argument, one betrayal, one humiliation. Brick by brick, they build a fortress around their heart, believing it will protect them. But the truth is, it doesn't. Instead of keeping pain out, it traps pain inside. The very walls you build to defend yourself become your prison. You carry the weight of past wounds into new situations, overreacting to minor triggers because you're not just reacting to the present, you're reacting to the past. Buddhism offers a liberating truth. Let go before it builds up. Don't hold on to anger, don't store resentment. Instead of stacking bricks, create bridges. Let emotions pass through you rather than hardening into you. Imagine two people arguing. One holds on to their resentment, replaying the argument in their mind for weeks. Each recollection adds another brick. The other person, however, breathes deeply and lets the moment go. No brick is added, no wall is built. They remain free. Here's a mental shift. The next time someone offends you or triggers you, ask yourself, am I building a wall or creating a bridge? A wall makes you cold, guarded, and distant. A bridge allows you to release the weight, to move on with lightness. When you build walls, you carry the past into the present. You react to new people with old pain. You see betrayal where there is none. But when you build bridges, you leave the past behind. You cross over it instead of dragging it with you. Think about it. What old anger or resentment is weighing you down today? Is it a childhood wound that still controls your relationships? Is it a past betrayal that makes you distrustful of new connections? Or maybe it's a mistake you made years ago that you can't seem to forgive yourself for. Every time you carry these old bricks into new experiences, you overreact. A simple misunderstanding feels like a rejection. A minor criticism feels like an attack. But the problem isn't the present. It's the weight of the past still pressing on you. Here's the twist. The wall you build to protect yourself often becomes your own prison. You may think holding on to anger makes you strong, but it only makes you heavy. You may believe guarding your heart keeps you safe, but it only keeps you isolated. The solution? Release as you go. Don't wait until the wall is too high to tear it down. Let go while the bricks are still small. When you feel a surge of frustration, breathe it out. When someone wrongs you, forgive quickly, not for them, but for you. When regret visits, let it pass through rather than making it a permanent resident. Imagine walking through life without carrying yesterday's bricks. When you meet new people, you see them with clear eyes, not clouded by old mistrust. When challenges arise, you respond to the present moment, not to past pain. You become light, free, and emotionally untouchable. The Buddha once said, "You only lose what you cling to." So the next time resentment tempts you to build a wall, choose a bridge instead. Let go, walk across, leave the weight behind, because the freer you are from the past, the calmer you become in the present. Bonus principle: the art of disappearing. Master the power of detachment. Most people spend their lives fighting battles that don't matter. They argue over small disagreements, cling to unimportant opinions, and wear themselves out trying to protect their pride. But Buddhist wisdom offers a freeing truth. The highest level of emotional strength is not to fight at all. It's to step away from the battle entirely. When you stop taking things personally, You stop being a target, just like a shadow fades when the light changes. Your suffering begins to disappear the moment you step back. Picture someone throwing insults at you. Your first reaction might be to defend yourself, prove them wrong, or fight back with equal force. But what if you simply smiled and walked away? What if you chose not to carry their negativity and let them deal with their own anger? This is the art of disappearing, removing yourself from the cycle of ego and conflict. Once you learn this, others lose their power over you. Their words no longer stick, and their judgments no longer wound. You become untouchable, not because you're cold, but because you've learned to rise above negativity. Try this shift in mindset. The next time drama calls, don't answer. When someone tries to pull you into conflict, don't react. When a situation threatens your peace, step back. Disengage, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. You'll soon see that most battles were never worth your energy in the first place. Think about it. How many times have you lost your peace over arguments that didn't really matter? Maybe it was an unnecessary debate on social media. Maybe you felt the need to defend yourself against a baseless accusation. Or maybe you reacted strongly to a stranger's rude comment. But what did you gain from it? All it did was drain your energy and feed a conflict that never deserved your time. Now imagine how free you'd feel if you simply chose not to respond. No explanations, no justifications, just calm detachment. Here's the truth. Walking away isn't weakness, it's strength. When you stop reacting, you become unpredictable. The person trying to upset you loses their grip. They expect you to fight back, but instead you step off the battlefield, leaving them swinging at empty air. That takes their power away. It gives them nothing to feed on. And more importantly, it protects your peace. The Buddha once said, "You will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger." The same goes for overreacting. Each time you jump into conflict that doesn't matter, you lose a part of yourself. Your calm fades, your clarity dulls, your energy is drained. But when you choose to step back, you stay whole. You leave with your peace untouched. Now imagine carrying that kind of power into everyday life. When someone insults you, you just smile and walk away. When someone tries to get a reaction, you let their words drop harmlessly to the ground. When life throws little problems at you, you let them pass through like a breeze. You stop wasting energy on small struggles. You become steady, calm, and emotionally free. So the next time you feel the urge to react, ask yourself, what if the best way to win is to simply not play the game? Then smile, breathe, and disappear. Let others fight the battles of ego while you walk away undefeated. Quick summary of the 7 principles. 1. The fire you don't feed will die. Anger and impulsive reactions are like fire. They grow when fueled. By choosing not to react, you starve these emotions. Mastery comes from awareness, not from suppressing how you feel. 2. The puppeteer strings. When you react without thinking, your emotions are in charge, not you. Understand that every reaction is a choice, not a reflex. Cut the strings of emotional conditioning and take back control. 3. The guest house of the mind. Emotions are like guests. They visit, but they don't stay forever. Notice them, accept them, but don't let them define you or drive your actions. 4. The sword that cuts both ways. Holding on to anger hurts you more than anyone else. Overreacting creates inner pain that weighs you down. Let go of the hot coal of resentment and protect your peace. 5. The still eye of the storm chaos is part of life, but your calm is your choice. Stay grounded, even when everything around you is spinning. Observe your emotions, but don't let them carry you away. 6. The water in your cup. Your perspective shapes how you experience frustration. The smaller your mindset, the easier it is to overflow. Expand your awareness so small problems lose their power. 7. The bridge, not the wall. Don't build emotional walls that trap you. Instead, build bridges that let your feelings move freely. Holding on to resentment and past pain only weighs you down. Let go rather than gripping tightly. You are not a prisoner of your emotions. You are the one in charge of your mind. Buddhism teaches that while we can't always control the chaos around us, we can always nurture peace within. Emotional mastery isn't about pushing feelings away. It's about noticing them without becoming them. Imagine a life where you're not ruled by reactions, where your calm becomes your strength. Every moment gives you a chance to choose a new response. When someone tests your patience or stirs your anger, see it as a mirror showing your inner state. Instead of resisting or reacting, take a breath. Notice the feeling, then let it pass. Your greatest power lies in the space between what happens and how you respond. In that space is your freedom. Zen reminds us, peace doesn't mean a life without conflict. It means staying still in the middle of it. Like the calm center of a storm, your true self remains steady, untouched by the chaos around you. The world will always challenge you, but you can choose not to feed the fire with overreaction. So next time you're pulled to react, remember these principles. They're not just ideas, they're keys to a calmer, more mindful life. You are not your anger, you are not your frustration. You are the awareness behind them, vast, steady, and free. If this message spoke to you, please like and share this video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to Buddhism Insights for more peaceful wisdom. Let's grow in calm together.